The near future. Mia and her husband, Aryan, live in a secluded smart house beneath a protective dome. Aryan is engaged in creating household pets in virtual reality, while Mia is a botanist who grows plants. The couple dreams of becoming parents. Mia is anxious, fearing that they might not be good enough. Aryan reassures his wife, promising that everything will be fine. Overwhelmed by anxiety, the woman loses sleep, and in an attempt to distract herself, goes to check her greenhouse. Early one morning, Virginia appears on their doorstep. She is here to assess whether Aryan and Mia are ready to become parents. Day 1. Since the couple belongs to the top 0.1% of the country's best citizens, they are permitted to have a child. However, first they must undergo a 7-day assessment to determine their suitability for parenthood. This is a standard procedure. If the result is positive, their biological material will be transferred for ectogenesis. All other methods of reproduction remain prohibited. In the event of failure, the candidates will be notified immediately. The candidates have the right to refuse the assessment up until the questionnaire is completed. If they refuse, however, they will lose the right to reapply. The final decision rests with the assessor. Mia asks what specific criteria they will be evaluated by. Virginia responds vaguely, saying that the less they know, the better. She is here to discover who they truly are. Virginia then conducts the questionnaire separately with each of them. Mia becomes uncomfortable as the questions grow increasingly intimate. When asked about her relationship with her mother, the woman says that she remembers little of her. Mia's mother was sent to the old world when Mia and her sister were still very young, because she was a dissident. The most important question is why they want to become parents. Aryan answers that it is their duty to help build the future of this society, while Mia says that she wants to give her child what she herself never had, a sense of belonging. Throughout all 7 days, Virginia will live with them. She dislikes the fact that the mattress in the room the couple chose for her squeaks, although Mia insists that it has no springs. They give up their own bedroom to the assessor and give her a tour of the house. Aryan shows his workspace, where he creates various objects in virtual reality. His specialty is household pets. At the moment he is working on the texture of a cat. Mia in turn shows her greenhouse. A flexible microclimate system promotes diversity. Here, Mia grows food. Virginia inspects everything with meticulous scrutiny. Mia strongly dislikes the fact that Virginia will have access to absolutely every aspect of their lives. The assessor personally collects biological fluids. The three of them have dinner together. Virginia notices a scar on Aryan and asks where it came from. The man explains that some people considered him responsible for the culling of household animals, which had been part of a disease prevention program. Since this event deeply traumatized the population, the government commissioned a team of programmers to develop an alternative. Activists blew up the laboratory where Aryan worked. For now, the spouses are forced to sleep on a single bed, since Virginia has taken their bedroom. In the height of their passion, the assessor brazenly intrudes on them, saying only that she needs to evaluate all aspects of their relationship. Virginia advises them to imagine that she is not there. For Mia this is already too much, but for the sake of the chance to become a mother, she agrees. Virginia watches impassively. Day 2. The assessor begins to demonstrate the behavior of a capricious child, in order to observe their reactions, as if they were interacting with their potential daughter or son. This completely throws the couple off balance. Virginia acts out, refusing breakfast. Unable to take it anymore, Mia yells at her. Trying to pull himself together, Aryan suggests feeding Virginia with a spoon. At first the woman behaves like an obedient child, but then she flings the food from the spoon at Mia and Aryan. It hits the man directly in the eye, and he cannot restrain himself from swearing. Virginia repeats the curse words after him, but the couple ignores her. Aryan rushes to rinse his eye, and Mia helps him. They decide that they need to establish rules, because children respond to boundaries. However, when the couple returns to the kitchen, they find it completely trashed, and the assessor is nowhere to be seen. They search for her throughout the house. The rooms are turned upside down. Virginia invades Aryan's virtual space and creates genuine chaos there. He yells at her, demanding that she stop. The assessor says that this marks the end of the test. After that, Virginia behaves as usual. That same evening the couple receives a package, something for a child. Virginia gives them until morning to assemble it. All night long, they struggle with the parts and the instructions, putting together a playhouse. Day 3. There are extra parts left over, although according to the instructions, this should not have happened. Mia solves the problem in her own way. She throws the parts into the ocean. Virginia critically inspects the playhouse and concludes that they have coped with teamwork. Aryan is terribly sleep deprived, yet he still tries to work in his virtual space, constantly yawning. Unexpectedly Virginia joins him, recalling how as a child before the culling, she could not come to terms with the fact that strangers would put her beloved dog to sleep, so she did everything herself. The woman finds the idea of virtual pets strange, because they should be cared for, not admired. Tactile contact is very important. Virginia says that she is bored and suggests that they play a game. They begin to imitate the behavior of tigers, and Mia becomes a witness to this. She barely conceals her jealousy when Virginia clings to Aryan. Day 4. The three of them go on a hike. Virginia starts fooling around and once again behaving like a child, suggests that they play hide and seek on the ocean shore. Mia feels excluded, because Virginia pays attention only to Aryan and completely ignores her. Then they build a sandcastle. Virginia calls Aryan daddy, clearly trying to provoke Mia, who finds it increasingly difficult not to give in. The woman worries that she will not be able to cope with the role of a mother, just as her own mother did not. A second package arrives, an invitation to tonight's dinner. It is to be held right here, hosted by them. This is another test that Virginia has prepared for them. Soon the guests arrive, neighbors and colleagues, including Holly and her husband, who have a daughter named Amelia. Walter, Mia's former boyfriend, is also present at the dinner, which creates additional tension. The assessor continues to behave childishly, fooling around at the table. Ambika arrives last, Aryan's mother, with whom he has a strained relationship. She has always been dissatisfied with her son and his achievements. While Virginia continues to fool around, the guests discuss the state of the world. Since the invention of a universal cure for disease and premature aging, reproduction has been placed under strict government control. The times when children were born not in a vial, but naturally, are referred to as the Dark Ages. Virginia continues to escalate the situation with her misbehavior, trying to provoke Mia into aggression. To diffuse the tension, Serena, one of the guests and Aryan's colleague, proposes a toast. Things become more complicated when it turns out that Aryan and Serena were previously married and had even submitted an application for a child. Mia knew nothing about this. Serena says that she decided to abandon the idea even before the questionnaire, once she understood what lay ahead. Mia leaves the table, wanting to be alone. Aryan follows her into the kitchen and suggests discussing it later. He did not mean to upset her. The woman silently returns to the guests. Evie, who is over 150 years old, tells everyone about the old world, when Earth was struck by a series of ecological disasters and epidemics. Humanity nearly died out, but the most brilliant of those who remained found a solution: preventing disease and aging. Evie is convinced that humanity vainly believes it has conquered nature, because in truth they have only borrowed it. Sooner or later, nature will demand everything back. Virginia, who has been sitting on Evie's lap the entire time, wits herself there, which causes commotion at the table and sparks conflict. This is not how Mia imagined motherhood. Nevertheless, she does her best to restrain herself and not take her anger out on Virginia. This is her only chance to fulfill her dream, to have a child. When all the guests leave, the couple argues. However, they soon realize that Virginia had deliberately done everything to cast doubt on their readiness to become parents, and they reconcile. Virginia, who overheard the argument, is disappointed and that same night comes into the couple's bedroom, as if she had had a nightmare. Day 5. Aryan and Mia go about their daily routine. To undermine their morale, Virginia hints that they are failing in their role as parents. Mia receives a call from the hospital and learns that her sister has suffered an embolism and has lost her speech and hearing. Mia must leave immediately. Aryan tries to dissuade his wife, fearing that this will affect the assessment. Virginia with a smirk confirms that if one of the candidates leaves, the evaluation will be terminated. But Mia cannot stay, because her sister is in intensive care and has no one else. This is an act of love for her family. Virginia gives her a deadline until 6 in the morning, not a second later. Thus Aryan is left alone in the role of a parent. At night, Virginia comes into his bedroom and provokes him into an unacceptably situation. Aryan realizes that this is deeply wrong, but he is unable to resist. Mia manages to return in time. Day 6. Aryan is anxious, afraid that his wife will find out everything. In fact, Mia's sister is fine, she was simply mistaken for someone else with the same name. Mia asks her husband to watch Virginia while she goes swimming. The man would rather not be alone with the assessor again, but he has no choice. Virginia once more intrudes into his virtual workspace and asks him to go outside and play with her. The man says that he is busy right now. Virginia goes even further, and having been left completely unsupervised, wreaks havoc in Mia's greenhouse, while Aryan, filled with reverent awe, strives to perfect the texture of his virtual pets. With tactile contact, they are now indistinguishable from real ones. The greenhouse catches fire. Crying, Virginia calls for mommy or daddy. The woman makes no attempt to save herself, as if she truly were a small, helpless child. Seeing the smoke, Mia rushes there. Aryan hears the fire alarm, but it is too late. Because of his panic-stricken fear of fire, the man cannot enter, so his wife takes matters into her own hands, smashes the glass with a stone and pulls Virginia out. Mia's life's work, her plants that she loved and cared for, are irreversibly destroyed. Virginia continues to play the role of a child and refuses dinner. This situation drives a wedge between the spouses, because Aryan was unable to overcome his fear. Mia tries to speak to Virginia as an adult, saying that the greenhouse had been her entire life. It took many years to build, and in a single moment everything vanished. But Virginia simply walks away. Day 7. The assessor informs the couple that their application for a child has been rejected. Her decision is final. Aryan is filled with outrage, unable to understand how she can treat them this way after everything he did for her. At that moment Aryan's infidelity is revealed. Virginia, behaving with utter coldness, leaves, while Mia laughs hysterically. From this point on, nothing between the couple can ever be the same again, especially for Mia, who has effectively lost the meaning of her life. In a fit of rage, she smashes the playhouse and breaks down in tears. In an attempt to comfort his wife and reconcile with her, Aryan creates a child for her in virtual reality. At first Mia is delighted, but this quickly gives way to even greater disappointment and anger, because it is nothing more than a highly convincing illusion, a fake that does not even have a scent. Aryan promises that he will work on it, but she does not need that. She needs a living person. The man explains that this is forbidden to them. It is the price they pay for drinking clean water, breathing clean air and eating fresh vegetables. However, Mia cannot move on until she gets an answer to the question of why they failed the assessment. Where did they make a mistake? Aryan does not understand how this is supposed to help them, but Mia is determined, and though with great difficulty, manages to find Virginia, whose real name is Grace. She lives in a cramped, dilapidated apartment. Mia is not allowed to be there, but she makes it clear that she will not leave without the truth. At first Grace tries to avoid giving a direct answer, saying only that Mia and Aryan, like other couples, are insufficiently suitable. Mia wants to know how many couples have passed the assessment recently. Under pressure, Grace admits that not a single couple has passed in the last 6 years. This shocks Mia. So she and Aryan never had a chance to begin with. Then what was the point of all this? Grace says that the government is interested in reducing the population. The task of the assessors is to humiliate the couples who apply for a child as thoroughly as possible, in order to convince them that they are unworthy of becoming parents. Assessors often burn out within a few months, but Grace has a powerful motivation. In return, she will be allowed to have a child in the future. That is the assessor's reward. Grace endures insults and humiliation only so that one day she might feel real love again. Her own daughter drowned 8 years ago. And living with that is unbearable for her. Mia no longer holds any resentment toward Grace, offering her only support. Humanity is trying to survive, but this hardly resembles life. Grace could have voluntarily gone to the old world, but she is no longer young, and without the anti-aging treatment she would not last long. Mia asks her, "And what about here?" Soon Grace is assigned to evaluate another married couple. But she can no longer go on like this and decides to pass away voluntarily right there in their home. Mia refuses the anti-aging treatment and goes to the old world, where all those who disagree with the current political regime are exiled. Aryan lives with his simulated family, a daughter whose growing up is simulated by a program, and Mia. In the final scene, we see Mia leaving the protective dome forever, stepping onto the barren wastelands. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel not to miss more exciting new products. Also, the authors will be pleased if you leave your opinion in the comments.